this episode, we're going to take a look at some more toys I wish I had as a kid. So, stick around. Hello folks and welcome to Days of Dorker Past. My name's Rob and in this episode we're going to talk about more toys I wish I had as a kid. Now this is number 8 in the series and believe me, I don't see any signs of this slowing down because there were hundreds of toys that I wanted but never got. I'm sure we can all relate because around Christmas time we were all hunkered down around the wish book from Sears or JCPenney or Montgomery Ward and we just were circling things like crazy that we wish we could have got. And either Santa didn't get them for us, our parents didn't get them for us. Either way, we still hunger for those toys, and that's what drives the nostalgia market. Anyway, let me point out something very obvious. I'm playing around with different lighting. Just let me know what you think in the comments. If it's too dark, too crazy, too reflective on my glasses, what have you. Just thought I'd try something different. But just let me know in the comments if it's a yay or a nay. Anyway, we're going to start our trip back in 1978 from a toy from Mattel. And that is the Daggett action figure from Battlestar Galactica. Now, I don't really remember Battlestar Galactica that much. I mean, it only ran for, I think, 1 season, 2 seasons? Forgive me, I don't really know. I wasn't a super fan of the show. And the only exposure I really had was through the toys. It was one of those things that in a lot of kids' piles of Star Wars toys, there were Battlestar Galactica. Either Cylons, some of the funky looking aliens, or Daggett. I honestly don't even know the background on Daggett. I think he's just a robotic dog thing. I know, here's a fun fact, a monkey played him in the show. I read about that. That's pretty awesome. But I think he's just a robotic companion to the little boy that was on the Battlestar Galactica ship. Either way, this action figure was super posable, was full of character, and was awesome. I wish I would have gotten one, and like I said, there were a lot of kids that I know in their box of Star Wars figures, they had Battlestar Galactica mixed in or Buck Rogers figures mixed in, and the Daggett always stood out to me. And to be honest, I can't wait to jump into hunting for toys I wish I had as a kid to see how much this little gem is nowadays, because if it's pretty cheap, I'm gonna get it. I also have to point out when I was doing my minimal amount of research for this, which pretty much was just looking at pictures of the toy, I came across that they had a Daggett plushie back in the day. Dude, I'm going to throw that on the list retroactively as a number 1.5 on the list because that thing is awesome. It's big, it's cuddly. Wow, I'm just taken aback. I mean, look at it. It is beautiful. And I might for fun just see how much this fella goes for. Number 2 on the list is also a twofer, and this comes from 1985 Tonka Gobots. I know. Gobots gets a lot of flack. Undeservedly so, because they were awesome, they came straight from Japan, and they actually hit American shores before Transformers did. Now yes, Transformers were bigger, more intricate, had a great backstory to the characters and mythos to the show, but you can't write Gobots off. There were some awesome cars, they even had combiners, and they had this. They had transformable objects that you could play with, like cap guns and squirt guns and binoculars. But in this case, we're looking at the cap guns. And like I said, it's a twofer. We have Rowgun, which is a rifle-style transformable cap gun. And we also have Cap Pistol. Not very imaginative in the name. And, I mean, honestly, they're not really that intricate of a transforming toy, but to me, they were awesome. I remember seeing them in the stores. I remember a couple of friends of mine had them, and they were something I always wanted. Cap guns were the thing back in the day. I mean, you could play with them with reckless abandon, unlike today. Cap guns and simulated guns of any sort are kind of a no-no now, but back then, man, how awesome would it be that you're playing with your Transformers and your GoBots, and all of a sudden your buddy down the street's like, "Want to play Army?" And you're like, "I got this." Fold up your rogue gun or cap firing pistol, and you're ready to roll. Now granted, if you're playing Army with one of these and you were to drop it, I'm sure it would burst into 1,000 pieces. But in theory, it's very awesome, very fun, and it's something that I still imagine having today. I mean, I looked at these pictures and I was just whisked away to when I would go to my Ritz camera store, which was like a pharmacy slash mini department store, had a little bit of everything, and seeing this in their toy aisle, I was enthralled. I wanted it so bad, but alas, I never got it. Number 3 on the list is Capsella. This is something that also came from 1978, but had a long life in the 80s. These were created by the Mitsubishi Pencil Company. Wow, what a mouthful. And I don't really think they had many more toys under their belt. Apparently they made pencils, so they had that going for them. But anyway, the Capsellas were these awesome building toys that were little glass clear balls that had gears and mechanisms inside of it, that you would put them all together with a battery chamber, and you would have things like propellers moving on helicopters, tires moving on cars, and other awesome things. There's just something about that awesome space-age design and seeing the gears move on the inside. That's really awesome. I can't even remember really seeing these out in the wild. I'm sure they were, but I never really got to go into the construction toy aisles. My parents, I don't know, for some reason, did not want me to have a very creative mind. I mean, of course, I used my imagination while playing with my action figures, and that's pretty creative. But as far as Lego or Construct or any of those, it was a no-go. I never had a Rector set. I did have Tinker toys, but no Lincoln Logs or anything. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. I never really went into those aisles, so I don't remember seeing it in the wild per se, but I remember how awesome the commercials were. They would just show these awesome space-age little globes of mechanism, machinery, just going to town and powering your imagination and whatever you created. Very awesome. I mean, I doubt this is something I would actually get today. I mean, they have a lot cooler things that I can get my kids when they're old enough. But this is just something that when I see it, is just a time machine back to my childhood. Number 4 on the list, the ATeam. And these were made in 1983 by Galoob. Now, the 3 3/4 figures were cool. They were a little generic, but they were cool. I'm talking about the big 5-inch figures. These were great sculpts of the faces. They were a little bit burly built, but these fit the Black Star model of design that Galoob did. They had big internal ball joints that the arms would snap onto, the legs would snap onto, and they're pretty posable. But the thing that really gets me, that why I would love to have them in my collection, or at least a couple of them, were the face sculpts. For some reason, I love these. They're not super accurate to the actors, but it's a great cartoony-esque style on the actors. I mean, of course, Mr. T is Mr. T everywhere. All of his action figures, his toys, t-shirts, whatever, it was Mr. T. But these don't really fit like Dirk Benedict or Dwight Schultz or George Papar too much. You can definitely see a likeness, but it's not like super accurate. But like I said, I just love that cartoony look. I'm in love with these face sculpts. They're so awesome. And the figures are pretty darn cool too. Number 5 on the list is the Thundertank from Thundercats. Released in 1985 by LJN. This was an awesome vehicle. Not very cartoon accurate, because in the cartoon, you gotta think the Thundertank was large enough that the whole team could sit in. Not this. You had two people could sit in the cockpit, driver, passenger seat of it, and one person on the back handling the cool paw cannon thing. So that always kind of bugged me, and I've talked about it in the past where it's not super cartoon accurate, but what a toy. I wanted this thing so much that as a kid I took a shoebox and built off of it with like toilet paper rolls and stuff, the front paws of it with the tread and the wheels, and I'd pop the lid off of the shoebox and I could fit what limited amount of Thundercat figures I had into it. Of course there weren't any cool seats or anything, they just kind of sat in there, and to be honest I really didn't have that many. But anyway, I wanted it so bad that I made it out of a shoebox and toilet paper rolls. This is something I would love to have now, but I think I'd rather spend my time and resources tracking down the figures first. I have a few of them now, not really that many. I think I talked about them in It Came From My Side of the Laundry Room episode, but yeah, awesomeness. I love this thing so much, the design of it, that I went out hunting. Outright hunting, which I haven't done for toys in a very long time, for the Hot Wheels version of it, which I luckily found recently. And I will be doing a review opening thing very soon on It Came From My Side of the Laundry Room. But until then, let's just bask in the glory of this awesome creation by LJN. So anyway, folks, that was just a quick look at 5 toys I wish I had when I was a kid. These covered a little bit of everything, because the media and the entertainment that we were bombarded with as kids was absolutely everything, and it was glorious. So anyway, tell me what you think about the lighting. It's still a work in progress. I like it. It's something different. It cuts down on that bright harshness that I did have in a lot of my videos. And this is more of a subdued, laid back, let's talk about it atmosphere. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you got something to say about this episode, about 80s toys, about the lighting, please leave a comment. I love reading them and I love getting back to everybody. And if you're new around here and you enjoyed this, or just 80s, 90s nostalgia in general, please hit subscribe. And if you did enjoy this, check out the videos down below that YouTube is recommending. Anyway, until next time, keep being rad and stay dorky.